Now, sometimes our exponents are not going to be just whole nice numbers like we've been dealing with, but sometimes they'll be rational numbers, they'll be fractions. So a rational exponent is an exponent that's a fraction. Raising a number to the m over n power implies that you take the nth root and then raise it to the mth power, or vice versa. What I mean by that is if you were to take like a and raise it to the m over n power, I often use like a slash, sometimes I use the normal fraction bar, but that means we're taking the nth root of that a and then raising it to the mth power. Or if you want to do it the other way around, you can do a to the mth power and then take the nth root of that. I will say in this case, most cases, it'll be a little easier to do the root first, but it doesn't make a difference, and I'll show you what I mean by that in a second. So taking a look at this first example, we're asked to write the expression negative 32 to the 3/5 power in radical form and then simplify. So the negative 32, only the 32 part is being raised to the 3/5, so I'm going to leave that out, that negative outside. So what I'm going to suggest we do is we take the 5th root of 32 and then raise that whole thing to the 3rd. Now the 5th root of 32, so what to the 5th power gives us 32? That's just 2. And then we'll say it's 2 to the, oops, sorry, not the 2nd, 2 to the 3rd. So that gives us a grand total of negative 8. Now we could have done it differently. We could have done negative and then done 32 to the 3rd power first, raise, and then take the 5th root. Now, I got to be honest, I don't know what 32 to the 3rd power is, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say most of you don't as well. I've done this on a calculator, so I'm going to write this out. This would be negative 5th root, 32 to the 5th power, or sorry, 32 to the 3rd power is 32,768. Okay, so that first part is already difficult. My 5 is kind of hanging out there, sorry. That first part in itself is difficult. I wouldn't be able to do that in my head. And then I'd have to figure out what to the 5th power equals 32,768. Well, that one I do know off the top of my head, completely kidding, but I do happen to know it's 8. If you were to do that on the calculator, you would just get that negative 8. Folks, the left side, way easier. You don't have to do 32 to the 3rd power and know the 5th root of a 5-digit number. I would, again, strongly emphasize doing the left side. On the next example, I want you to try that one on your own. You got 64 to the 4/3 power. Set that up first and then see if you can simplify. So pause the video and give that a shot. And we're back. 64 to the 4/3 power. I'm going to say let's do the 3rd root of 64 first and then raise that whole thing to the 4th power. So what to the 3rd power? What times itself again gives us 64? Well, that's just 4. So this whole thing becomes 4 to the 4th power. Now 4 to the 4th power, that one you could use a calculator, but some of you might know it, is 256. So it's 64 to the 4/3 power equals 256. Again, you can do it the other way where you do 64 to the 4th power first and then take the 3rd root. But again, raise your hand if you know what 64 to the 4th power is off the top of your head. Yeah, me neither. But I've done it on a calculator and I ended up getting 16,777,216, of course. Who doesn't know that off the top of your head? Oh gosh, I would never. The 3rd root of that, I'd have to use a calculator for that. That happens to be 256. I only know that because I know what the right answer is. Folks, again, the left side, taking the root first and then raising it to the exponent is almost always the easier of the two options.